We are here, and everything seems to be working. So I will spare you the introduction and just tell you that it's time for. Well, Joe, why don't you say what it's time for?
The Joe and Joe Show. And tonight's Joe and Joe Show is brought to you by Joe.
Yes, well, both. It is brought to you by Amazon. Those of you who'd like to support the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast can do so very easily if you shop on Amazon. Use our referral link that's pinned to the top of the chat board and is also on the descriptor to this podcast. It's a very easy thing to do. Just use the link, search and shop for whatever it is you're going to buy. Amazon throws us a little bit of coin for sending you there. And it actually helps us out because we don't run commercials during the live stream, and we'd like to keep it that way. So if you'd like to help us keep it that way, do your shopping via our Amazon link. And Tempest by Weatherflow. Get the revolutionary Tempest weather system. Join the fastest growing observing weather network on the planet. The link for this is on the descriptor to this podcast on YouTube, right under the title. Use the coupon code Summer 2025 because if you do on anything you buy from Tempest, you will get.
You'll get 10% off anything. Absolutely the smallest little article, item on the Tempest list, all the way up to the most expensive. You'll still get 10% off, but you must say Summer 2025.
You'll notice, by the way, I have a second camera that I put up. So if you look on the upper right, I'm sorry, on the upper left, and if you kind of see how messy my room is too. If I move, let's see, let me just, you can sort of see JJ, he's asleep on the bed. So there you go. I'm just gonna, I'm taking this off because that could certainly be described as a distraction. And the one thing we don't need anymore is distractions. Seems like everything has been solved. Did a clean up, did a reboot on the computer. Everything's fine now. So we shall get going. And on that particular note, of course, they've had flood watches up here for the last 2 days. Okay, so today they took the flood watch down. And what happens? I just got a thunderstorm go by. I think I must have got at least 1.5 inches of rain out of it. And on top of that, because it hadn't rained the last 2 days, I decided to water. So my sprinkler was going all through the heavy rain event. So there's that. And on that particular note, which was, I guess we really shouldn't have been surprised that some of this southern moisture found its way, maneuvered its way up the coast because I saw at the last hour it was raining in New York City, and there's been on and off light rain in parts of central and south Jersey for a while today. That came to me be a little bit of a shock, not a shock, but I was just kind of surprised that it happened.
Well, the fact is that it was a cloudy day. We did get views of the sun through the clouds, though. It seemed to be like a homogeneous sheet of gray, and the sun appeared like a diffuse silvery white ball in the sky. So, I mean, if you associate clouds with opaque cloud cover, in other words, that you didn't see any sun at all, we did have sun, but it was considerably attenuated. The light of the sun was attenuated or diminished by the very fact the clouds were there, and also there was, as has been the case for the past few days, a layer of smoke high
Yes.
above. And it looks like, Joe, even though we're going to be seeing, I think, clearer skies over the next couple of days, the forecasts I've been looking at least in terms of smoke, suggest that we're still going to have smoke in the air right on through the end of the week.
Yeah, even though the northwest flow has pulled up, the flow aloft is so light and variable. It's not like we went to a west south, a stream of west southwest or west winds. Instead, we're just kind of in a upper air no man's land, so the smoke is just sort of lingering around.
And hopefully it will clear out a little bit later on in the weekend because it looks like the weekend, from this vantage point, folks, looks like, at least to this forecaster, looks great. Lots of sunshine, lower humidity, warm temperatures, probably in the mid and upper 80s. But again, looks very nice. And as you just alluded to at the start of the show, Joe, and also on the actual lean up to the show itself on the on my Facebook page and other places where we've been promoting the show. Doesn't look like we're going to see very much in the way of precipitation over the next 7 days. Basically, very dry weather.
Yeah. And WPC agrees with you.
Oh well, it's nice to know.
Well, because we know that they're lurking in the background here on the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast on an almost continuous basis. Welcome tonight to everybody on the chat board, and welcome to those of you who are, as I said, lurking in the background on tonight's podcast. We're here Sunday through Thursday when everything is working, which it is tonight at 7:35 p.m. And Friday and Saturday are off days unless there's some spectacular weather going on, storm-wise, in which case we'll add a show and we'll let you know. So subscribe to my YouTube channel. Turn those notifications on so you don't miss us. And if you like the show, Joe, what should they do?
They should hit that like button. Hit it.
By the way, didn't get a chance to ask you because of the technical issues the last two nights. I'm sure you had a fantastic birthday.
It was okay.
Just say yes.
Yes.
And there you have it. All right. Okay, I'm trying to switch the maps. Oh, here we go. There we go. You know, it's funny because I actually have there's like two arrows when I'm using the mouse for whatever reason. And I'm always confused about which one I'm supposed to be having on the screen. But I solved that mental problem now, and we've got the watches and warnings up, and you can see in the Northeast and parts of the Great Lakes, you still have some air quality issues. We also have flash flood watches in Southern Virginia into East Central North Carolina, and there are a few flash flood warnings going on up there too. It's been raining across much of the Carolinas over the last couple of days, actually the last 3 days or so. Also, some flood watches in southwest Georgia and a couple of counties in southeastern Alabama. And then we've got heat advisories scattered around the southern and central plains, some red flag warnings in the southwest. I think those are red flag warnings. What it looks like. Yes, red flag warnings there in the southwest. And looking at the satellite loop tonight, I don't know if you can see it, but there was if you look in North Georgia, there's a teeny tiny thunderstorm there with lightning strikes. That's me. Okay. That I got into. And meanwhile, with all this moisture that's been sitting in the south, you can see a lobe of it just pushed clouds up the coast all the way up into southern Maine and New Hampshire and Vermont. And there's a couple of thunderstorms going on in upstate New York scattered around. Actually, when you look at the full U.S. loop, in terms of thunderstorm activity, there really isn't a lot going on.
Really, you're right. I mean, when you consider some of the past few weeks where we've seen areas that get quite a bit of rain, heavy amounts of rainfall, it's nice to get into a spell of quiet weather. Now we're going to be able to put together or string together. And I mean, today too, in spite of the cloud cover, today was a quiet day. And now we're hoping that we'll be able to lower the humidity a few more notches, the dew point temperatures going down, and allow for a clearing trend, more in the way of sunshine. Now, if all we can do is just get rid of the smoke, we'll be sitting pretty. Although early next week, Joe, we're going to start seeing the humidity climb again, and also we're looking at temperatures that'll be, again, flirting with and even probably surpassing 90, especially so on Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. So enjoy the next several days of comparative tranquility and quiet, and not much to write home about, because early next week we're getting back into the heat and also the humidity.
And here in North Georgia, where I am, today was the first day in 4 where the temperature actually broke the 80-degree mark for a short time this afternoon. We actually had a fair amount of sun today for a good part of the day until I got this boomer. But the last few days, it's been a real struggle. And in fact, we had that Sunday and Monday, I believe, didn't get out of the 60s on both days. So that was nice. It really was nice to be able to work outside in the yard and not feel like you were dehydrating from the inside out. In the meantime, here's the radar tonight, and there's light rain over Long Island, much of New Jersey. Now, some of this is aloft, like the stuff that's over the Hudson Valley in that bluish color, if you want to call it blue. In southern Connecticut as well. Again, nothing heavy here. There's a little bit, couple of bands of slightly steadier rain in South Jersey, but that's really about it. And then you go further south and you get into some heavier bands in southern Virginia and into North Carolina. You can see there's 2 flash flood warning boxes up there. Otherwise, we've just got just some scattered storms in parts of Kentucky, western Ohio. Down in Florida, we've got some patchy evening thunderstorms in and around southern Louisiana and southern Mississippi. Some showers and a couple of storms in parts scattered around in Colorado and New Mexico. They've had a lot of rain events out here in Colorado and New Mexico this summer.
Yeah, I normally I would say at this point, New Mexico, yeah, you expect that because of the monsoon season, but I don't have much of an explanation for Colorado, except that the moisture there has been more synoptically driven. In other words, not due to some micro scale event like a monsoon.
Right.
But anyway, yeah, it has been awfully wet out in that part of the country.
Tonight, the Storm Prediction Center, we've got no severe thunderstorm watches up, nor do we expect any severe thunderstorm watches up. In fact, they put out a mesoscale discussion concerning an area in, where is this? Looks like Wyoming. Boy, when they blow up this map, I can't tell where this is. Okay, western South Dakota, northeast Wyoming, and far southeast Montana. They are saying a severe potential here. A watch is unlikely, with just a 5% chance that they may go with a watch. So that's where the marginal risk is for some isolated severe thunderstorms. Now, we do have 2 days of enhanced severe weather, one upcoming for tomorrow in North Dakota, where we have an enhanced risk and a large area of slight risk from Montana to western Minnesota. There's a 5% tornado risk in this area, and the marginal risk pushes into Wisconsin and Illinois on the east side and into western Montana and Idaho on the west side. And then on day 3, which is Friday into Saturday, we're looking at an enhanced risk in eastern North Dakota, western Minnesota, with a slight risk surrounding that. But you'll notice that on day 2 and day 3, no thunderstorms are predicted for much of the Northeast, with the exception of upstate New York, Vermont, and New Hampshire for Friday and Saturday. They have an area of general thunderstorms possible up in that zone, as well as general storms from Virginia down to Florida and west to East Texas. But again, the severe weather concentration seems to be up in the northern plains. And as Joe mentioned, as far as rainfall is concerned over the next 7 days, so this carries us until next Wednesday night, they've got no rain for much of eastern New England, southern New Jersey, southeastern Pennsylvania, and in areas surrounding that, we're looking at only a tenth of an inch at most in some places. You got to go down to the coastal Carolinas and into Florida, where we could have up to a few inches of rain there. And also some heavy rains of up to several inches from northern Missouri and Iowa northeastward into Wisconsin. So it is definitely quiet times weather-wise. And I guess we could call these the August dog days.
I guess so. I forgot to mention also at the beginning of the show that well, let's see what time it is now. It's
WCBS news time is 7:50 Eastern time.
So 1 hour and 20 minutes ago, at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, something well, I won't say special or auspicious happened, but something did happen that may be of interest to our viewers. Do you know what that
At
moment
what
was?
time? What time was this?
6:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time.
Today.
Yeah,
I would say that the astronomical summer halfway point.
that is absolutely correct.
See, I
Summertime, astronomical summer. We're not talking, of course, not to be confused with meteorological summer. Meteorological summer began on June the 1st and comes to an end at the end of this month. So I guess you could say the halfway point of meteorological summer was July 15th or 16th. But we do have, or did have, um, the halfway point of astronomical summer at 6:30 p.m. The midway point between astronomical start of summer, the June solstice, and the autumnal equinox in September. And the midpoint was today, August 6th at 6:30 p.m. So we are now halfway through astronomical summer. And I think, Joe, as we move through the second half of summer, one thing that you're going to notice, especially so in the evenings and in the mornings, is the fact that the evenings are getting darker and the mornings are also getting darker. Sun at one point, in June, coming up at around 5:25 in the morning Eastern time. If you're in the New York metropolitan area, well, now the sun is coming up at around 6 in the morning, and sunset, well, in early July it was 8:30, and now it's coming up on 8 p.m. So the days are getting shorter, but now, as we move through the halfway point of summer, the shortening is especially going to become more and more noticeable in the days and weeks to come.
and coinciding with the halfway point is the fact that the climatological peak of the average high temperatures is occurring at the moment and beginning, I believe, on Saturday. The average high temperature and the average low temperatures start to go down. So it's
And
for the winter weather lovers. It's all downhill from here, and happily so.
and
Meanwhile, in the
they're probably
tropics,
jumping up and down and getting really excited about that, aren't they?
yes, uh, tropical storm Dexter or Durwood or Dolphin or whatever you want to call it. um, what's his
I've never
name?
met a person in my entire 69 years on this planet. I have never met a single person named Dexter.
No, I don't think so either, and I don't think I have either. Sorry, no, I can honestly say the same thing. I don't think I've ever met anybody named Dexter. Um,
Okay.
and I've met people with unusual names, but no Dexters. Um, we have two areas of interest for the Hurricane Center, neither of which is going to be an issue. The tropical wave in the eastern Atlantic, maybe that becomes a tropical depression late this week or over the weekend, but it's forecast to move west northwest and then northwest uh, into the open waters of the Atlantic. And the system off the southeast coast that's going to develop is now, instead of moving, this is why you don't get excited with long range models regarding when they start throwing tropical storms or hurricanes, much like they do with snowstorms in the wintertime. Um, we had model runs days ago where it was forming something and then shooting it up the coast or taking it inland. Not that it was really doing much with it, but now all the models seem to agree that it's going to be like Dexter, move northeastward off the mid-Atlantic coast, and maybe when it gets out there, it could organize into a tropical depression or a tropical storm, but it is going to be an ocean event. There is a tropical wave that's going to be moving off the African coast this weekend. That one probably is one of that could be of interest down the road, but it's so far down the road that we're at the game. We're playing the game where the models are just taking it one place on one run, another place on another run. It's sort of useless to try to opine on what may or may not happen. But we've got
Opine?
this. What's that, Joe? I'm sorry.
I said opine.
Opine, yes.
Yeah, that's it. There's a $5 word right
Well,
there.
we've had runaway inflation for the prior 4 years. It's more like an $8 ward now.
Right.
But
Okay.
so there you go. You have this big high in eastern Canada that's just kind of settling around, just sort of jumping around, and eventually just kind of moves out to the east. So we're going to hold on to this onshore flow for the next couple of days. There, we've seen this southern moisture sneak up, so I guess we just have to keep our eyes on whether that continues to be the case over the next couple of days. Although it does seem to diminish overnight tomorrow, but there probably will be some cloud issues around, along with some sun. But models seem to be shifting the southern moisture offshore the southeast coast to some extent. So I'm not too concerned about another area of light rain coming up. And then as we get into the weekend, it does look pretty good. We kind of lose the maritime flow. The high reforms in Pennsylvania and settles off the Maryland coast on Sunday. So it's going to turn very warm and humid over the weekend and into next week. And you'll notice, I'm running through the GFS here through Tuesday, really not showing very much. And there's some kind of weak trough or uh, maybe a weak frontal boundary that approaches on Wednesday, but it doesn't. A couple of showers and thunderstorms scattered around in the northeast and mid-Atlantic states, and then that goes out. There really isn't a whole lot happening from the standpoint of rain. We might have to wait quite a while. If you believe the GFS, not until the following weekend do we have some kind of front where it's showing up some showers. And then you'll notice in the long range on the lower right, here comes the daily. For some reason, the 8, 6, and 18 Zs want to take hurricanes up the East Coast. This one gets deflected north and east and out uh, around the 21st, but again, a long way away. It also, Joe, does show another nice big high coming down from Canada into the eastern part of the United States with some rather cool air around the 21st, 22nd, and it's carried it over from yesterday. We'll see if that holds true. But on the whole, we don't have any. It doesn't appear like we have anything major to worry about in the coming days. And if we want to switch over to the European model, uh, you're not going to see. It's not going to be that much different, really, as we take a look on today's run. Same idea, less moisture around, more high pressure for tomorrow and Friday. And then on Saturday, we start to get into very warm and very humid conditions. Shower and thunderstorm activity still going on in the afternoon and evening in the southeastern part of the United States. You can see there's some severe storms there late in the weekend up in the northern plains. And by the way, for tomorrow, you can see what it's doing here. For tomorrow, has a robust line of storms moving across the Dakotas and into Minnesota, and then some more storms the next day for Friday into Saturday. But and then it switches over eastward into Iowa and Illinois and Wisconsin for Sunday. But again, we're not seeing, in the absence of any kind of tropical storm making a landfall someplace, uh, you're not really going to see setups that are going to produce any kind of widespread heavy rain and flash flooding.
I notice on the chat board.
I know. I noticed it too. I noticed him too.
Yeah.
Andy's on the chat board. Hello, Mr. Gregorio. Last time we had you on the show, you cussed a storm.
For those who are among the uninitiated, Andy Gregorio and I and Joe Giappi, we were pretty much all together for a while in the
Yeah,
late '70s and early '80s.
that we were. Yeah, it's amazing. I'm astounded every day by something that reminds me just how much time has passed, and I don't know about you, but it's frightfully scary.
Yeah, I can't believe, and somebody has already put it up on the chat board, and I've already alluded to it on the show earlier on, that I am now 69 years old, and I can't believe that I'm that old. I did see, I can remember clearly when I first got started in this business. I was in my early 20s. Where's time gone? Where's time? Time has literally flown. Crazy
Well,
and scary, and a bit scary too.
oh yeah, oh yeah. Um, but I guess we enjoyed our work so much that time, went by quick.
I That's a nice way to put it. Yeah.
Really, when you think about it, can you uh, if you're working, and I tell this when I talk to younger people trying to decide make career choices, and I always tell them make sure whatever it is you're going for, um, you like what you do because nothing, you're going to spend a third of your day. And over time, we could just sort of estimate that you're going to spend a third of your life in the workplace, a third of your life sleeping, and then a third of your life fighting with your wife, so or husband. Um,
You
so
know, I was at the zoo yesterday, the Bronx Zoo, and if you go to the Bronx Zoo, one thing that they have now that I would say probably I know they did not have when you and I were much younger, Joe. They have a dinosaur animatronics, as if you're walking past, a T Rex or a Brontosaurus or
mhm.
any of the, and it's not just one or two. I mean, I was recalling Granada, 1964 World's Fair, Sinclair. I don't know if any of you still have a Sinclair gasoline
I remember
engine.
Sinclair.
Well, they're still around. In fact, I have a Sinclair up here in Putnam
Yeah,
Valley, and
I've
their symbol was the dinosaur, a green dinosaur.
yep.
And at the World's Fair in 1964, they had a dinosaur exhibit, and I don't remember if the dinosaurs actually moved, if they were animated, but what they have now at the Bronx Zoo is amazing. I mean, like you're walking for many. I won't say miles, maybe about half or three-quarters of a mile's worth of prehistoric animals of all types, all different. And there was one that was like hovering over you and like growling. And I turned around and I said to my daughter-in-law's father, Pat, I said, "Does this remind you of an episode from the Flintstones?" I said, especially the line where he's yelling at he takes a swing at a dinosaur and says, "I've been growled by experts, starting with my wife."
Yeah, it's true. Izzy D, yes, you both feel as energetic as you did in your 20s. Um, I actually don't feel any. I mean, I don't think I feel any different than I did in my 50s or in my 40s. I still feel about the same. However, I am noticing, now there are certain things that are a lot harder to do. Like if I have to get down on if I have to, for whatever reason, get down on the floor and then I try to get up, I need to like have something there that I can rest my hand on for support. Otherwise, I'm stuck there. So, I mean, I discovered that when I took my grandkids to the town pool because I tried to sit down along the edge of the pool and just sort of slide in, and I couldn't get myself down on the ground. So I had to walk on the hot pavement all the way around and walk my way down the stairs, and then climbing out on the ladder because it was a gunite pool. So the ladder steps were actually, inserted in the side rather than have a metal ladder that's hanging out. And that was all that I found very awkward. So it's little things that I'm noticing. But I have been landscaping my yard and moving bags of mulch and topsoil and uh, uh, compost and all the rest of it. So I'm still able to do that. So as long as I can still do that, I'm happy. Let's do some Briller Jeopardy, shall we?
Surely, who has it tonight?
I have it. Okay.
All right.
So we're doing the 10 costliest hurricanes in the United States. And I will just just as a help here, okay, these numbers are not adjusted for inflation. So if you start pulling out hurricanes, prior to 1990, you're not going to. Those are none of these hurricanes are before 1990. So we're talking about the numerical, the nominal number here, as far as the 10 costliest hurricanes. And I'm noticing that Steve LaPointe and Carol DeCara and Mike Waterhouse Bonsai kick it off with Andrew, and Andrew is number 8, which was in 1992. So Andrew is number 8.
How about Katrina?
Along with Howard A., who's picked Katrina, that and Maggie P., that remains number 1 on the list. Number 1. So we have Andrew at 8, Katrina at number 1. Harold Olson, as I said earlier, if you don't need to bother to go prior to 1990. So Gloria is not anywhere close to the list.
Right.
It's on an old list. Sandy, Mike Waterhouse Bonsai and Maggie P. naming Sandy, as he is also, Joe. Sandy is number 4 on the list. Rich Rothmansky going with Helene in 2024. Helene is not on the list. Okay.
Really?
Not on the list. But there is another 2024 storm on the list. Patrick Darcy gets that one with Milton. Harold Olson talking Floyd. Floyd is not on the list.
Floyd did a lot of flooding up here in 1999, but I don't even think that by the time it reached us, no, I don't think it was even a hurricane. It was just a tropical storm.
Right.
But yeah, I would agree with you. It doesn't really deserve to be on the list.
Let's see. Andy Gregorio picking Hurricane Michael. Hurricane Michael is not on the list. And I think that's probably because where Michael hit in Florida, it was in the Panhandle is an area that was sparsely populated to an extent. And I've been down there, and it is sparsely populated. Let's see. I see a few people mentioning Hurricane Irma. Irma is number 6. Okay, number 6 on the list. And Tyler Fienga mentioning Hurricane Harvey, Joe. Hurricane Harvey is number 5. Number 5.
And that did its worst damage, not in terms of wind, but because of tremendous, enormous flooding, especially in and around the Houston area.
And the chairman, Scott Briller, hitting the tip jar tonight, letting us all know that it's hurricanes for the next 3 days on Briller Jeopardy. So far we have number 1, Katrina, number 4, Sandy, number 5, Harvey, number 6, Irma, number 8, Andrew, number 10, Milton. Ian, Maggie P., is not on the list. However, Andy Gregorio, Maria is on the list, as Dennis Cassia and Frank Scalera both mentioning Maria. Maria is number 7 on the list. Kenny Salerno, Matthew is not on the list. So we still have a few left here. Irene is not on the list.
How about Ida?
Ida is number 3 in 2021, Hurricane Ida. And let's see, Idalia, Patrick Darcy, is not on the list. I forgot Idalia. I didn't even remember when that was. Lee is not on the list. Irene is not on the list. So we've got, we're still missing number 2 and number 9. Ike, Rich Rothmansky, is on the list. 2008, that's number 9. So we are missing one storm, number 2. I will say that it's a recent. It's not. Wilma is not on the list. Frank Scalera. I'm just going. I'm just scrolling back because Maggie P and Tyler Fienga got number two. Ian number two in 2022. So it's Katrina in 2005. Uh, I Ian in 2022, Ida in 21, Sandy in 2012, Harvey in 17, Irma in 17, Maria in 17. So they're 5, 6, and 7. Andrew is the only pre-2000 hurricane in here in 1992, Ike in 2008, and Milton in 2024. Now, if you take all the hurricanes and you go back and you adjust for inflation, um, I'm sure we'll probably have a few additions and subtractions in this list, but these are non-inflation adjusted numbers. So I think it was very much, um, uh, yeah, Ike is number 9. I see somebody wasn't quite sure of that. Ike is number 9. So there you go. That was always interesting to get reminded of what the costliest hurricanes were.
And we will have hurricanes for the next 3 shows. We'll have a show again tomorrow night, and we'll be back on Sunday, and we'll also be back here on Monday of next week. So
Yep.
there you go.
And everything is working. By the way, for those of you who've never downloaded the Meteorologist Joe Chaffee Weather app, which is free, you can download the Meteorologist Joe Chaffee Weather app because it's free. So go to the App Store if you have an iPhone, go to Google Play if you have an Android, and just type in Meteorologist Joe Chaffee or just type in my name. It should come up. And download it because it's free. There's so few things that are free, Joe. You and I, the show is free.
Thank goodness for that.
Yeah.
Last
Oh,
two
no,
nights,
not
people would.
necessarily.
I mean, if we were charging anything, people would have been at us yelling, we want our money back the last 2 nights.
Well, that and it would be. I guarantee you, it would be if there'd be a far smaller audience.
Yes.
So there, so there you go. Um, I know, Christina Pedia, you pay for YouTube Premium, so technically it's not free for you. I guess you don't get to see any commercials, so that's actually not a bad deal to get YouTube Premium because then you don't get any commercials. I don't think it costs that much per month. So anyhow, sure Google's happy that I gave him a plug. So don't forget, if you want to keep this show commercial free, the live stream, use the referral link at the top of the chat board to do your Amazon shopping because that doesn't cost you anything. And don't forget, if you're looking for a weather station, Tempest by Weatherflow, and the link for that is on the description of this podcast on YouTube underneath the title. So we'll be back
Hey,
tomorrow.
I didn't know that Tom Contino was a booker for the Joe and Joe show
Well,
because
I don't know.
he says on
Yeah.
the chat board he says he's trying to get Bill Evans on as a guest, and I didn't even realize that he's is out there trying to book people for the show.
Well, maybe those people he's trying to book might wait for us, get an invitation from us.
Yes.
You did invite Joe Whitty, but he hasn't responded to the email yet. But Joe, the decade is still young. There's still 4.5 years left to the 2020s, so you never know.
I should try to get I try to convince him to come on because it was 50 years ago in 1975, and I was serving then as the AMS representative at City College in New York. Getting people, well-known personalities to come and give Thursday afternoon seminars. And it was in November of 1975 I convinced Joe Whitty to come to CCNY, and he did, and he gave a nice talk. I can't believe that was 50 years ago, but
Mm-hmm.
these years later, here we are.
Yeah, we still are, thankfully. All right, so everybody, we'll see you on we'll see you tomorrow night. Oh, there's JJ. He's in the. Oh, he just made an appearance there on the lower left.
Yeah.
So there he is. JJ, you're on the air. He doesn't care.
This is one show that didn't put him to
It
sleep.
just, but it's really funny because when I come in here to do the show, he comes in here and he just lays and sleeps and doesn't make a sound. It's, I don't know why, I didn't train him to do that. He's just naturally bored by the show, and I get it. So we'll see everybody tomorrow night. Have a great night. Bye.
Bye bye.